Greetings. My name is Eranki. I'm an assistant professor at Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad, India. The title of my talk is Immune Sensitization and Therapeutic Impact of Boiling Histotripsy in a Refractory Murine Neuroblastoma. Neuroblastoma is one of the most common extracranial tumors in children. At best, 30% of them in the high-risk category survive. Here's an MRI with the arrows pointing to the tumor, and this disease is quite deadly in a lot of children. So there is an urgent unmet need to improve outcomes in neuroblastoma, in the current neuroblastoma therapy. So we hypothesize that combining boiling histotripsy, which is a form of the HIFU therapy, with checkpoint inhibitors will sensitize the immune system against the tumors and treat a metastatic disease with a long-term cure. So this is our preclinical setup, which uses a ultrasound imaging guided system capable of volumetric therapy. We placed 3 foci adjacent to each other that are non-overlapping, and our pulse length was about 13.3 milliseconds at 1 Hertz PRF, and we were able to achieve about 85 megapascals peak positive and 14 megapascals in the peak negative pressures. Each focus was sonicated for 15 seconds. The tumors, once inoculated, were allowed to grow to about 1200 to 1500 millimeter cube in volume, either both unilateral. In the bilateral case, they were anywhere between 8 to 10 millimeters on each side. So pretty much almost 1.5 to 2 times the total tumor burden as compared to the unilateral side, and followed up with 3 doses of anti-CTLA-4 plus anti-PD-L1 cocktail separated out by 2 days each. With the unilateral tumors, when treated with boiling histotripsy and the checkpoint inhibitor combination, resulted in complete tumor regression. A similar effect when treated on the unilateral side resulted in bilateral tumor regression. And it not only stayed that way for 300 days in the unilateral case, as seen in the green line in this Kaplan-Meier plot, with the y-axis being % survival and the x-axis is days, but also on the bilateral tumors, suggesting a very strong and sustained abscopal effect of this combinational therapy. So to understand the mechanistic behavior of this, we basically treated mice again with just boiling histotripsy and assessed the blood and tissues at 24, 48, and 72 hours post boiling histotripsy. And a couple of pointers here was interferon gamma was significantly elevated, as well as IL-2, suggesting a strong pro-inflammatory cytokine response towards a more anti-tumor effect, while VEGF-A and IL-10 were significantly downregulated, suggesting again a more anti-tumor effect. In addition, we also saw a significant increase in DX5, which is a marker for natural killer cells, both in the spleen and in the draining lymph nodes, 24 hours post-therapy, which suggests a strong innate immune response to this therapy. In addition, we also saw significant reduction in FOXP3 in the spleen and the tumor lymph node, which is a marker for regulatory T cells. All of these suggest a strong pro-inflammatory as well as an anti-tumor effect in terms of an immune response. We also wanted to understand what boiling histotripsy was doing when combined with the 3 doses of the anti-CTLA-4 and anti-PD-L1. And so we assessed both cardiac blood and tissue 24, 48, and 72 hours after the last dose of the 3 doses that were given. And we again saw elevated interferon gamma, and interestingly, significantly downregulated IL-6, which is known to be a pro-tumoral cytokine, in addition to IL-10. Both IL-10 and IL-6 being significantly low was quite encouraging. In addition, what was very interesting was we actually saw a significant increase and upregulation in CD8 alpha dendritic cells, both in the draining lymph nodes and in the spleen, suggesting a strong cross-priming potential of this combinational therapy. When we rechallenged the mice that survived this therapy, we saw a significant increase in long-term effector memory in both the CD4 positive cells as well as the CD8 alpha positive cells, as seen in the green markers, compared to mice that were never exposed to these tumors, suggesting that not only that the tumors regressed to this combinational therapy, but also had a memory effect that sustained and ensured a tumor that never grew. In conclusion, we believe that this combinational therapy not only stimulates a systemic immune response, but also is capable of potentially producing a vaccine effect and turning in terms of turning the tumor from a cold non-immunogenic tumor to a hot and immunogenic tumor. I'd like to thank all the people involved in the study at UMC Utrecht, National Institutes of Health, Children's National Medical Center, as well as University of Washington. Thank you for your time.